Killer on a White Horse, A Story of the Evening Watchman, by Ned Dahan. The audiobook, made available on BlackBoxOnlineRadio. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 11. Are you for real? Warren asked Barry over the phone. Yeah, said Barry, still in a state of disbelief himself. It was now Saturday night, almost midnight, and Barry knew Warren had to work a special Sunday shift the next day, but Warren seemed fixated on Barry's story. You met a girl in front of the supermarket, the same one that came back to your job, he went on, and you took her back to the motel, and had sex with her on the first time? Yeah, Barry repeated. Then, at 7:30, I drove her to the shopping plaza, and she said, just drop her off by 8, so I did. You gotta send me her photo, Warren pressed. I want to know if she's really as hot as you say she was. Just a second, Barry told him. Barry minimized the phone call. He opened the photo section in his smartphone gallery. Then he found the only photos that he had of Joanna. One was her and him together. She was sitting on his lap in the desk chair. Joanna had taken the photo like a selfie. The other one was just her standing by the window, glancing back at him. He sent them to Warren. Bruh, she is fine, Warren almost exclaimed. I'm like green with envy. Damn, I need to get out more. She has a friend, Barry mentioned. That brunette girl that got, really angry with you when you saw her the first time? Warren asked. Yeah, said Barry. What's her name? Warren asked. Barry went blank. He had never asked what her name was. Perhaps Joanna had taken his mind off things. He knew the names of the two guys, Robert Gallus and Emmanuel Inman. Golly and Manny. What kind of weird nursery rhyme did they fall out of? Barry thought silently. Golly and Manny. I don't know, Barry admitted. I didn't ask. If I see her again, I'll let you know, but this girl, Joanna, she's different. They're like drifters or something. They don't carry cell phones or have any social media. Those off-the-grid types. I doubt I'll ever see her again. One night stand, said Warren in a matter-of-fact way with a little bit of mocking. It's been a while since I've been with a woman, so can you at least tell me how the sex was? I would say that it was the best ever. Barry tried to contain his glee. I would say she would have been the best of all time, but she said one weird thing in the middle. She said it at the beginning. What was it? Warren questioned. Come on, Daddy. Do you want to fuck Mommy? Huh? Warren muttered in genuine disgust. I take it back. She's all yours. No more envy on this end. That's ridiculous. Barry's eyes darted to a notification on his phone. He rarely heard from anyone at this hour. He was quite shocked to see that it was from Blaze. Hey, I just got a message from Blaze, he told Warren. Oh yeah, Warren replied. Your hot streak is starting, my friend. Just remember to share some of that heat with your friend in Washington. No, it's not like that, Barry said as he read. She sent me the WBBR radio website. Someone mailed another letter to the station. It's on the website. Please send that to me, said Warren. I want to see too. There's been another murder. Barry shared the message and the text that had been mailed to the WBBR radio station website. 5:15. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Where was White Horse? Who raised the 4 white horses of Abraxas? Where is Cooper's white horse from the Book of Rev? Why was there a black beauty, a black stallion, but not a white? The White Horse Killer. WWVV, WW00, WWXX, WWVV00. This is getting weird, said Barry. Chapter 12. It was Sunday night, or technically Monday morning. Barry was asleep in bed. The air conditioning was off, and the white sheet from the Birch Bark Motel was the only thing covering him. He had thrown the brown motel blanket off the bed. The summers could get hot in this part of Maryland, but at night he kept the windows open. Sometimes. Another murder had been committed, another double murder. Once again the names of the victims had not been released to the public. All that was known from the new minimal news coverage was that a murder had occurred at 5:15 p.m. on Saturday. The killer or someone present at the crime scene had written 5:15 on the wall nearby in the victim's blood. Next, someone had sent him in a message to the WBBR radio station. The pounding started. Barry's waxy eyes began to flicker. The whole room seemed like a blur. What was going on? He grabbed his phone from the nightstand table and checked the time. 6:30 in the morning, he said aloud. The pounding persisted. Who is it? What's going on? Barry spat out. Barry, it's me, it's Joanna, the voice shouted. Barry strode over to the door and opened it. Joanna shot through the doorway and walked inward. She was nervous, still always wearing the same clothes, even the bathing suit that was under her t-shirt. You have to help us, Barry, she stammered. You have to help, please, just listen to me, please, Barry. Joanna, was all Barry could say. What? They arrested Golly, she shouted. Keep your voice down, please. There are other people here. Here? Where? She hissed. In the motel, Barry restated. Obviously. Did you see the news? She went on. No, said Barry. I was asleep. Look for yourself, Joanna instructed. Barry sat down on the bed and grabbed the smartphone. What do I search for? He asked. The White Horse Killer, Joanna revealed. Barry was surprised that he wasn't more shocked, but he put the info into the search bar, and another article from the WBBR station website had been published less than an hour ago. Arrest made in the White Horse Killer mystery. Barry only read the important parts. After an extensive search, the police have made an arrest. Robert Gallus, 31, taken into custody. Originally called them the W murders, but after, White Horse, the two final murders were committed on Saturday. The killer left a signature W on the male victim's back, then signed the crime scene with the time of death, 5:15, was on the wall, victim's blood. You have to help us, Joanna persisted. So that's it, Barry wondered. This is disgusting stuff. He got up and went to the table and picked up a can of Diet Cola. Want one, Joe? He asked in a mocking tone as he opened the can. No, she scoffed. I want you to help us. You have to tell him that we were all here with you, or at the park, or we met at a cafe. You drove us first to the park, then you drove us back to the motel. We stayed until 7:30. Barry, you need to do this. Just like that? Barry wasn't impressed. That's your game, huh? You were the alibi girl. You left your friends abruptly. You were supposed to find someone who could verify your whereabouts at the time of the murder. Well, how are the police gonna believe you? I drive a 2-seater. No way 5 people were moving around in that. You can say that we walked in the park together, Joanna insisted. Wait. Barry froze. Ice had filled his veins. He had one of those moments where he had figured it out. He thought he knew everything, but it all began to fall away. Why not you? He asked. What? Joanna was confused. The murderers signed the crime scene at 5:15 on Saturday, Barry went on. I left here just after 4. I got there at around 4:20 or 4:30. I was watching the clock once I got there. You were at Benny's Cafe for around 40 minutes, right? That means you and Golly and this Inman guy and the other girl. Trista, said Joanna. Her name is Trista. You, Trista, and the guys were all together at 5:10, Barry went on again. There is no way they got to Williams Pike in 5 minutes and committed a murder. It's on the other side of town. Unless they could teleport or use magic. Golly had nothing to do with this. I'm not his alibi. You are. Joanna took a step back. She had lost her energy. It was the first time that Barry had seen her so down. She moved over to Barry's desk and sat in the chair. Her face collapsed in her hands. Manny and Trista told me Golly had done it, she huffed. Joanna, what's going on? I don't know, Barry. She almost cried, but didn't. I truly don't know. Chapter 13. Barry and Joanna sat at the small table in Barry's motel room. Joanna had a cup of coffee that they had made in the black plastic motel coffee pot. Barry was still holding the Diet Cola can. He wasn't drinking from it as it had been consumed, but he held the can. The motel only had 2 chairs. One was normally under the desk, against the wall, but now they were both seated at the table. How long have you been with Inman and Golly? Barry asked her. About a year, said Joanna. "Where are you from?" Barry kept asking. "Philadelphia," she revealed. "Now that I've been gone for a little and sleeping on the road, my old neighborhood doesn't seem so bad. My father was a businessman. I mean, he still is. We don't talk, though. My mother stays home. I mean, Dad was always gone on those business trips. One of those types of families." "I can imagine," Barry added. "My father's in Grenada. He was married to my mother for 3 years. I was born, then they divorced. He's a doctor. I saw him on off as a kid, but then he moved back to Grenada when I was 12. We don't talk much, only every now and then. My mother remarried a couple years ago. I mean, like 7 years ago, just as I was finishing college. My graduation was one day, and their wedding was the next, or close by. I mean, I forget the date and all. Her new family doesn't care much for the stepson or stepbrother." "What's wrong with humanity?" Joanna scoffed in a light-hearted way. "Nothing," Barry reassured her. "I'm human myself." Joanna took a sip from the paper coffee cup that said Birch Bark Motel on the side. The sunlight was peeping in through the curtains, but they kept talking. "Did you ever feel like your father didn't love you?" Joanna asked him. "Only every single time we talk," Barry answered in a nonchalant way. "Yeah," Joanna answered. "That's what threw me off one night. Like I said, it was about a year ago. I'm 22, right? I went to college, I got a literature degree. My family always pressured me to do it, but I just went to college because of them. So I graduated last spring. I was applying for jobs, and I was in this running for a paid internship in Chicago. I did 2 interviews. I thought about it every single day. Then the email finally came. I got it. They offered me the internship. I went to my mom and dad. I was still living with them at the time. Like all through college, I never moved out at 18 or anything. And I told them, I got the Chicago job. And then my father was just like, "Are they paying your airfare?" I said no, but "Are they paying for your housing?" I said no, but then he said, "That's not a good offer." Then he just turned away, like I had found a dead bug in the bathroom. I had waited for months for that job offer. Then it was all ruined. He just pissed on everything that I tried to accomplish. I didn't say a word. I just went to my room. I packed my backpack. Then I took a long walk. I knew I wasn't coming back. I had about $500 in the bank. I took it out the next morning, and I've never been home since. "Joanna," Barry began, "life sucks sometimes. Parents suck sometimes. Do they know where you are?" "Yeah," she continued. "I send my mother postcards every so often, addressed to her, not my dad. They know I'm not dead and I'm moving around, but that's it." "How did you find Inman and Golly, though?" He restructured. Her lips moved into a light smile. "I didn't," she replied naturally. "They found me. I told you I took the money from the bank. Next I got on a bus and I went to the end of the line. Once it parked, I just started walking. I had a smartphone at the time, so I put motels into the search bar, and I found one 8 miles away. All I had to do was kill time, so I began walking. As I was walking down the road, I saw a girl in a tank top with those, booty shorts. I thought she was a prostitute at first, but she wasn't. I mean, well, it's a little complicated." "Was that this Trista you mentioned?" Barry asked her. "Yeah, that's Trista," Joanna went on. "I met her. We talked. She could tell that I had a backpack and nowhere to go, and she said I could stay with her. I didn't know that she was a drifter, but now, so am I. I mean, I don't know what to do. Manny, Trista, Golly, too. They always said they'd never lie to me. I trusted them. I believed them. Even when they were talking about doing some crazy shit. Like, this White Horse murder stuff." Barry put the Coke can down. "Wait, did they really tell you they were going to commit murders?" "Of course not," Joanna replied. "They just said, you gotta make a story. You got to. You got to, find a way to make our story work. Be back by 8 p.m. sharp, on the dot. Manny has his own way of speaking. Then before I came here just now, Manny told me that Golly had been arrested. Golly murdered those people. We have to use the story you made, Joe. Only your story will save him." Barry bit his lip. "If that 515 signature is true, that's a lie," he pointed out. What if it isn't true? Joanna asked Barry. What if the murderer just wrote a different time to be confusing, like spreading false clues? Do you want Golly to be the killer? Barry interrogated her. No, of course not, she said. But Barry, why would they lie to me? Why would Manny lie about something like that? He didn't do it. I mean, he was with Golly and Trista too. They were all together. We were all in the same place. This makes no sense at all. Barry's eyes grew wide. That I agree with, Joe, he proclaimed. Joanna. Who confesses to murder that they didn't commit? Well, I don't think Golly has confessed, she mentioned. Manny told me he did it, but Golly was already with the police. Trista was standing right there, too. She had that confidence in her eye, that Trista look where she gets all full of confidence. She didn't seem like any of this was weird. Well, Trista rarely does. She came from a much rougher home than I did. I mean, that's no excuse for, well, life is complicated. Joanna, Barry tried to think. Where was Golly when they arrested him? At a bar, she said. I don't know the name, the one. It has like a big red horse on the roof. The Red Stallion, Barry identified. I guess, she seemed uncertain. Manny and Golly were at the bar, and Trista and I were, well, we've been staying in a barn this week. Someone said that we could use the loft in the barn, but, you know, it's not a regular barn. I mean, it's not dirty. Hey, Joanna, it's fine, Barry reassured her. I'm not judging you. I don't sleep in straw either, she persisted. There are some cots there and they have mattresses. I'm not judging you, Barry asserted. Barry's words had little effect on Joanna. She buried her face in her hands. Barry could only speculate, as he didn't want to pry too much with too many questions. He was more curious about why the barn bothered her so much, more than anything else. Was there a secret about the barn, or was it just Joanna being frustrated with the drifter lifestyle? His imagination began to flare. He pictured a young girl, Joanna, joyful and innocent. He doubted that she would have wanted this life. Perhaps the drifter aspect of it was fine. But hopping from place to place, sleeping in barns or whatever dwelling was present, it didn't seem to suit her. Barry, can I use your shower? She asked him. Sure, he confirmed. Joanna showered there before the evening when they had made love. It was the summertime after all, and people began to sweat like the condensation on a glass. I have one more thing, like a weird request, she began. What's that? Barry asked. Could I borrow one of your razors? She said. I don't have any stuff here. I need to shave my legs. Yeah, that's fine. I only have one razor, but it's right there. They're both with replaceable blades, and they're in the drawer. There is gel, too. I just need soap and water, Joanna said as she entered the bathroom and closed the door. Change of topic, huh? Barry thought silently.